Okay guys, I had a lot of questions last night about this trolling motor setup, so I'm going to make a video quick run it through. This is fully put together right here. Here's your controller from Wireless Trolling Pro. The beauty of this thing is there's no actual 5 speeds, it's anything in between from extremely slow to full speed. And anything in the middle. Same with reverse. So this actually saves your battery. It's like adding a digital maximizer to just a Endura C2 or whatever pound thrust you're gonna be using motor. So I'll start at the back. This bracket. This is the bracket that's permanently mounted. This 1/8 inch, 2 inch. Wide flat bar stock. It's sandwiched on the inside with another plate. So this plastic of the hole is actually sandwiched between this plate and another plate with some nylock washers. 4-inch hatch you have to cut in the back to access your receptacle, run your wiring, and reach the nuts on this guy. This bracket runs the contour of the backside of the kayak, and it actually sandwiches. It might be kind of hard to see. It actually sandwiches the handle in the back. Kind of see it there. So it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it held the motor up even with lifting it and turning it without these guys on here. It's pretty stiff on there without even the bolts. The way I mounted it is I cut the clamp off the transom mount off the motor just to give it room to clear. This thumb nut has a nut welded onto the underside of this bracket underneath there. This one is the factory clamp that came on the transom mount, and it goes all the way through the bracket, all the way through this handle to here. So that whole thing is connected in one spot. The nice thing about this is if I want to go to my rudder, to my motor, or vice versa, I just remove these two guys. This whole thing comes off. The rudder slides back in its factory spot. The pin on the rudder is plenty long enough to reach through the additional thickness of this plate times 2. So you never have to remove this, and you can switch back and forth as you need to. Original length rudder cables, I just removed the fittings, added a wire crimp with some heat shrink, added a carabiner to the end so I can clip this back and forth between this or the rudder controls. As far as the steering pin goes, this is just a factory bracket that came on the Minn Kota. I can't remember what it originally was for. I just ran some 3/8 inch, I believe, all thread. Some all thread connectors, drilled some holes with some split rings, added a piece of cable to extend the length of these guys. These are permanently on here, so they just stay there. The nice thing about keeping your steering really close to the shaft and using cables instead of hard mounting to these guys is that even at full lock, excuse me, I still have the use of my factory pedals, and I get full steering either way. I wasn't interested in having the slide pedals, so made a point to make sure that we were still using factory pedals on there. The shaft is cut down to roughly 20 inches long. The head is flipped the other way. The handle I cut off, so there's no more extension on it, but it still works. I keep it in off when I'm not using it, but when I'm running it, you keep it on 5 and just let the speed controller up front take care of everything in between. Let's see. I welded a eyelet to the original screw head that mounts the motor, and that's what I use for my motor lift. It's ran pretty simple right now. Just some paracord. I ran it underneath these guys in the rail. Added a cleat on this side of the seat, a little stainless steel pull ring. So the way it works is you pull your regular factory rudder lift line up front on the left side of the kayak, and what that does is it unlatches the latch, and then you would pull that string and it would pull your motor up. It works actually pretty good for being how simple it is. And I'll go through this guy here in a second when I take this thing apart a little more. So on the original motors, where it connects, there's a pin that connects the two. Knock that pin out. This is a 3/8, I believe, stainless steel shaft that I just got at Home Depot. It's just a cotter pin on this side. Pull that. So that's the bracket we made. This is the part that the motor pivots on. And I mean, it's just two pieces. We bent them with the torch, welded a little washer on here so it wouldn't go too far, built some holes, painted it, and that's it. So to remove the motor, remove the rudder cables, motor lift, maybe. Plug your plug, and the whole motor comes out like that, and that just stays on there, and that's how I travel with it. I just pop this guy back in whenever I'm ready to head out on the water. Okay, moving up front, let's see, Minn Kota just plug-in receptacle in the side. Ran wiring all the way up the front. Inside the hatch, I have this Plano box here, and on the side I have, let's see if I can get these off real quick, some terminals. So I just have wire nutted terminals. And I have external terminals on the side of this. This is a Plano, just a plastic Plano ammo box I got from, you can probably get it at any sportsman's store. So if I don't want this, I just pull the whole thing out, everything stays inside. Really, I never take this battery even out of here. So this is a 35 amp hour AGM. Have a resettable breaker in between on the hot wires, and then underneath this, that's this. It's kind of hard to see. This black box that's down there is your speed controller, and that pretty much just gets wired between your motor and your battery, and that's it. And then it has 5 wires, 2 hots, 2 grounds, and then it has your speed controller wire. I just hollowed out a little divot in the lid, add a little bit of electrical tape for extra safety on that line when the lid's shut, and it just runs up here to the front. If I have it, if I'm standing up, I'm gonna add a belt clip to it. If I'm standing up, I just kind of keep it in my pocket like this, with the controller sticking out for right now. And then if I'm sitting down, I just pop it inside the pocket like that, and it just sits there perfectly fine. I can just put along. All this stuff, the breaker, the Minn Kota, I mean, almost everything on here you can buy off Amazon. I did the battery box I bought at Sportsman's. The speed controller came from wirelesstrollingpro.com, and yeah, there's you can run this another way too, which my buddy that's on this page, Tyler Alderson, he has pretty much the exact same setup, except he deleted the head completely off his motor and moved the little switch that's inside here for the handle. He just moved it to a waterproof electrical box that he has bolted to the front side of this. The only difference is you'll have to run either 2 Minn Kota plugs or 1 4-wire plug, because instead of extending 2 wires with the head attached, the hot in the ground, you'll end up having to extend all 4 wires up to the front. So there's no wrong way to do it, but there's, I guess, 2 different ways. You can get that little cleaner look with the head cut off completely, but it's a little bit more work and be a little bit more expensive. Wires and the plugs are more expensive. So yeah, cool, thanks.